Hey Photo Bee students, this is Miss Taylor. I'm going to do a lesson on photo color correction with curves. So let's go ahead and begin. We're going to go ahead and open up Photoshop. And for this lesson, our objective is to modify a photograph so it looks more like it did when you were at that location taking that photo. Sometimes when you take a photo, the color doesn't always reflect what we're looking at. Alright, so I'm going to go into the Assign drive and locate a photo that we're going to use for the lesson. Taylor, Photo B, and then Color Correction with Curves. And there is a photo in here called Hong Kong, I believe. There it is. And we're going to click and drag that onto Photoshop. I'll just minimize this so I can use it later for the next lesson. Alright, so here's a photo, not too bad, but it's not very vibrant, and the color of sky generally does not look this color. So we're going to try to bring it back to life and bring back some of those blues and other natural colors in the sky, as well as the colors that were originally in the photo in the city. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to find the darkest point, which is generally going to be black, the lightest point, which is generally going to be closest to white, and then the closest to 50% gray. So a gray that's 50% black and 50% white equally. So we're going to do that by locating what's called the Color Sampler tool. Now you might have the eyedropper tool on top, so just right click and scroll down to the Color Sample tool. Alright, so let's go ahead and find our darkest point on this photograph first. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to our Layers palette. And right here is a circle with half black, half white. That's called an Adjustments layer. Okay, we want to scroll down to what's called Threshold. Click on that. And I need to take this off. You don't need to do this. My clipping mask is on. Yours will look more like this. And what I want to do is I'm going to turn this all the way to the right, and then I'm going to bring it slightly to the left and wait to see that first part to pop up. And it looks like it's happening right here. So that means that this is the darkest area in the photograph. So I'm going to zoom in on that. I'm going to sample that area. Okay. And the closer it is to 0, the darker it is. So it's pretty close. It's 31 out of 255. And now I have just marked the darkest area. And you'll notice that there's a 1 there. So I can remember the darkest point is labeled with a 1. Okay, now pretty easy to find the lightest point. I'm just going to do basically the opposite. I'm going to keep that Adjustments layer, but I'm going to take my slider and turn it all the way to the right and then bring it to the left. Okay, so it looks like it's popping up right in this area, and I'm going to sample that area. So I'm going to zoom in with my navigator again, pull this down, and sample that area. And the closer to 255 it is, the whiter it is. And you'll notice mine is 253 out of 255, so that's pretty darn good. So we're going to click on there, and it'll be marked with a 2. So 1 is the darkest, 2 is the lightest, and now we're going to go ahead and find the grayest point. Okay, so let's zoom back out. Let's move this over here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to delete this layer. We don't need that anymore. So let's click on it, hold the mouse, and drag it right onto the trash can. Okay, so now it's basically back to where we began. So we just used that threshold layer to find those 2 points. It's not going to change anything in the photograph. Okay, so to find the gray point, we're going to create a new layer. And if you don't remember from photo A, the new layer is down here. It's right next to the trash can, so we're going to click on that. And we're going to fill this layer with 50% gray. So let's go up to Edit, Fill, and then change it to 50% gray where it says Use. Click OK. And then we're going to change the blend mode to difference. So we're going to click right here where it says Normal. This is our blending mode. And we're going to go down to Difference. Okay, we're going to add another Adjustments layer, so we're going to click on that, and we're going to also turn that to Threshold. Okay, Now because we have this gray area here, it will turn it to black and white. So your page should be completely black and white, and what we're going to do now is we're going to swing it all the way to the left again and swing it all the way, or slightly to the right. Okay. Now try to find the areas that are popping up first. In this case it looks like it's right here, so let me zoom in on that. And I'm going to click and make a mark 3. And this one, if you have 0 to 0, you find that 50% gray, and that's where it is. So I'm going to click on that. Zoom back out. And now we have 3 points. If I throw away this layer here, and I throw away this layer here, you'll see 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the curves adjustment layer and bring back those colors. Okay, so remember the adjustments layer is this little guy here, and we're going to bring up curves. Alright, so right here you'll see 3 eyedroppers. The first one has black, the second one has gray, and the third one has white. We're not going to go in that order. We're going to go black, white, and then gray in order to make sure that the white is going in the spot that it needs to. And if we did gray first, we wouldn't get that in the spot we needed. So let's click on the black, and remember number 1 was the darkest point. Now I'm getting an eyedropper here, and I want to get that same cursor as the number 1. So if you hit caps lock on your computer, you'll see you get the same cursor. Okay, so let me zoom in and make sure that I'm getting on the 1 exactly. Oops. So let me put that on there and then click. There we go. Alright, let me zoom back out. I can hold down my space bar and then move it over to the 2. Now 2 is the lightest spot, so let's click on the white eyedropper. Click right over that. You can already see the sky is starting to get bluer. And then lastly, click on the gray eyedropper, and you'll notice it's 3 is right here. Click on that. And we have a little bit more vibrance to our photograph. So this is probably more what the real life Hong Kong looked like opposed to this one that's a little duller. Now to get these little markings, these, can't find my cursor, to get these markers off, we're just going to hit the clear and we're all done.